It's Ducks Day here in California Adventure as we bring you coverage for Sideline Sports Podcast. Welcome to Sideline Sports Podcast. I am the host, Alex Naveja, and if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. We're here in the Disney California Adventure here in Anaheim, California, not your usual setting of the 22 West Studios over in Long Beach, California, where if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. I am the host, Alex Naveja, and with me today is Zach Anderson Yoxsimer, former sports director of 22 West Radio. Zach, how's you doing today, and how do you feel just being here for Ducks Day?
I mean, it's been pretty fun. I mean, ironically enough, I went to the Ducks game last night. They lost, so I was pretty upset about that. But the players have been in a good, chipper mood, and it's funny enough, it's actually been a cool day. Kind of funny bringing the hockey team, and it was hot, I believe, yesterday and the day before, even reaching the 80s. And today it's been a nice, cool day. Everybody in their own long hockey jersey sweaters. I've been obviously in a big jacket, busted off the orange right there, painted orange. And there's been jerseys all over this park, all over the theme park. And from as soon as I got here at around 11 a.m., there's just been littered with Ducks jerseys in a good way. It's Ducks jerseys, hats, gear, retro, modern, anything you can think of. It's been Ducks jerseys just about everywhere.
So it looks like the players have actually forgotten all about their loss last night. We'll actually talk a little bit about the game last night later on in the show. But you know what, Zach? For those of you that have not been here in Ducks Day or have never been here in Ducks Day, please tell the people what it's like being here as a fan, you know, just to see all of your favorite Ducks here in Anaheim, California, and just let the people know. What is it like?
Well, first off, hockey players are gigantic. You think football players are big, you think basketball players are big. Hockey players are absolutely huge, and of course on the ice, they're bigger with all their pads and their skates, but they're still 6'5", 6 feet. They're big boys. They would tower baseball players, or even some of the shortest football players. So they're big boys. They've been in a good mood, and this is actually, I believe, the second annual one. I believe the first one was last year for the Ducks' 25th anniversary as a franchise. Of course, Disney invented got the Mighty Ducks franchise. So they had them. This is the second one, and it seems like the amount of love and enthusiasm for all the Ducks and all the Anaheim franchise, bringing out all these extra people on a Wednesday, a school day here at California Adventure. It's just like you got so much more influx of people in the theme park, and I would know, I worked in a theme park, so if any reason in the non-peak part of the season to bring in more people, it works, and the Ducks fans have showed out. Maybe not the game last night, but they showed out today.
They're probably waiting to save up all of your ammunition to come here into this California Adventure. But you know what, Zach? There's been a lot of kids here in attendance, and you know what? Taking field trips here in California Adventure. But you know what? Tell the people what happened. Some of the events that have been going on here in California Adventure for Ducks Day.
Well, the events I believe started around 8 a.m. as soon as the park started. Some things started around 10 a.m. What I've experienced so far, there's the cavalcade, which is basically just the players coming around and walking like in a little mini parade, a Ducks parade. And California Adventure, I don't think, has a parade at the moment during this part of the year. So they just had it in the middle of the day at 1:30. They started. I think they started close over to the old school Paradise Pier area. They had a photo shoot with some youngsters. Then they came all the way down, right past the Little Mermaid ride, and they came right down and all the way down right next to the theater that we're next to, near Guardians of the Galaxy and the Hyperion Theater, and then went to the Studio Hollywood backstage lot area where all the cool stuff is. There's a backstage area where you can watch old school Ducks highlights, this year's Ducks highlights, retirement ceremony with Paul Correa and Scott Niedermeyer. There's a fan fest of sorts, basically all Ducks. You can take goofy pictures, you can take the hardest shot. My shot was terrible, it was only 30 miles per hour. It's tough. First time I actually picked up a hockey stick. And there's a puck stacking challenge. I beat you.
Not by much.
23
Not by much,
to 20.
guys.
The only thing is we had 2 rounds each. You got 20 both times. I got 19 the first time and 23 the second time. There's a meet and greet with the players. You had to get here. Some people I heard as early as 6, 7 a.m.
Wow.
Getting here, maybe 5 a.m. People are fanatics. I was at the game, so I slept in naturally. And they had 3 groups of wristbands. They started at 2:15, then at 3, and then 3:45. So there's 3 separate meet and greets. So the players can go meet, have the other players mingle, go on rides. So it's just been a cycle of players. Of course, they started with the captain as the front and center of the meet and greet. They were hyping up the fans with the DJ JoJo. A good friend of ours, Phil Hewlett, the PA announcer for the Anaheim Ducks, he came through. They were the hype men, getting people to go, "Let's go Ducks," screaming. And then it was actually really stacked for that first meet because Ryan Getzlaf, the biggest, longest tenured Duck, was there. Right front and center, watching people take photos. That was fun, and just it's been fun. The whole parade route was stacked, and it's just been a fun day so far. And I've barely even experienced half of it. And Ducks jerseys are everywhere. It's ridiculous. Anywhere you walk in this park, it's Ducks hats, shirts, bags, everything. Heck, I had purple sunglasses on, and they were matching everything. But people are in all their gear, so it's been a fun day so far.
What has been your favorite part throughout this whole entire day? I know there's been a lot of festivities, but I mean, you have to choose one. What are we going with today?
I think my favorite part was watching the parade. He had Getzlaf on his own little car. They had 3 separate cars. They had Getzlaf on his first car with Mickey Mouse. So he was on his first car as the captain. They had like a second car of other players, and a third car just coming through. And then they got off the cars and walked right through the crowd, right through the street where the trolleys normally go, and this kind of curved off into the theater where I believe it's the Sunset Theater, where they used to have the Muppet Show and all that, and they have all the highlights playing, as I mentioned before. So I liked watching them just come. Everybody was waving, lined up for almost a mile long, it seemed like. So it was pretty fun watching them do that, wave at everybody. And also, a special thing we haven't mentioned yet was a couple of the USA women's hockey players came through. I didn't see the back of their jerseys. I was trying to look at the rosters, but I wish I could drop that. But USA women's hockey was in the house because they're playing in February at the Honda Center, USA Canada. So they're trying to hype that game up as well. So some USA hockey team members just walking right past you. You have professional NHLers from all around the world just walking right past you, towering me. I'm 5'8", you're 5'8" too, so they just tower us. But I would say that cavalcade, the parade-esque thing, where we walked right past everybody. I waited for about 45 minutes to get like a secondary view of the players, and it was pretty fun.
We talked about people being here since 6 a.m. Do you think people go to the extremes of maybe even camping, close to maybe Disneyland, or even, doing anything wild like that? What is the Ducks fan base like?
I mean, the Ducks fan base is pretty good. I mean, at the moment, they're in a bit of a decline at the moment. They're in rebuild for right now. They've made the playoffs about 6-7 straight years. They won the Pacific Division 5 years in a row. Almost like that same stretch where the Dodgers got hot in 2013 to now when they're still the 7-time the NL West champs. The Ducks were 5-time kind of charting off the seasons as the Pacific Division champions. And the fan base is, as far as at games, it's a little light depending on which team's in the building, what day, what's the time, what's the matchup. Of course, the Kings, the Knights come in a division rivalry, you get some of the Western Conference foes, or even some of the original 6 teams. It'll fill up the arena, the Honda Center, and it'll be fun. But as far as the fan base, they showed out today. There'll definitely be a third one. I think there should be a third one next year in 2021. But as far as being at the games, there's not a big presence from a couple of games I've gone to. It kind of just balances day to day, of course, But they're in a rebuild stage. They're competitive, young, scrappy. They try. They're not just straight not trying, but they're in a rebuilding stage at this moment. And as a fan, it's tough to watch considering they've had all the success in recent years. They were a heartbeat away, maybe a couple injuries away from winning the Stanley Cup in 2017 when they lost to the Predators in the Western Conference Finals in 6 games. But, got to phase out the old guys, get some new young guys, mix in some veterans in a year or two, and maybe be ready in a wave for 2 to 3 years where they could be uber competitive, as we saw last year with the St. Louis Blues, who were in last place New Year's Day in 2019. They won the cup. So there's so much parity in the NHL now that a fan base has to be on beat. They have to be ready in order for any big run to happen. The Ducks were notoriously in recent years a second-half team, but as far as the fan base, I think they've enjoyed the recent success, and the fan base is still continually growing. People are getting into the hockey, the NHL, and especially with the Winter Olympics not too long ago, a couple years ago, everybody was watching USA Canada in the gold medal game, the women's final. So it's growing, especially in Southern California, in Orange County. But fan base is good at the games. Still has to lighten up a bit consistently.
So, what do you say? Do you expect to have another one next year? I mean, to make it 3 years?
I would definitely say. I walked in, and everywhere you look, Ducks jersey, hat, shirts, gloves, bags. I showed it's everywhere. It's all over. It's only California Adventure specifically. Disneyland, of course, just open Star Wars land, so they kept it on that side. But California Adventure's a better sideline. They have the theaters right there. They have the other theaters. They have the stages, which is perfect for like an event like this when they have nothing going on. And it was awesome. I enjoyed it, and I literally said yesterday, called my grandma. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. Let's actually go watch it and see how it's going. And it's an all-day thing. It's like a 2-hour thing. It's from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Of course, some of the big events kind of bunched up in the middle of the day. The Ducks do play tomorrow against the Dallas Stars at home, so they need the rest. And they had to get some sleep from last night's game where they lost 4-3 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. But they've been good in the middle parts of the day. That's where the bulk of the stuff is. But still, the other activities, the extra 80s, all that stuff, it's an all-day event. And it's an all-day event.
So, for the people that are considering for going next year, what do you suggest to them? What would be some advice that you suggest to them so that they can be ready for next year and get the full-on experience?
A couple of things. I didn't notice any of the players signing anything, so I don't really expect to get any signatures or autographs. I brought a couple of my brother's things in case they were giving signatures. I don't really need a signed thing. They did give away a couple of signed pucks, so depending on where you're at what part of the day, when they were hyping up the crowd for the first meet and greet, they were giving off an Adam Henrique signed puck. So it just depends, and I haven't seen every player here, so maybe I just missed them. But as far as the team, they're here, and you have to get here early if you want a wristband, like early. Like people got here 6 a.m. I don't know what to say. You have to get here early. I didn't realize they're giving out wristbands, but the players do walk around. So if you want a handshake and a photo op, guaranteed, get here early. If you want to just enjoy the atmosphere, just come at 11 a.m. You'll get the whole rundown of everything. They have signs everywhere. Cast members are on point and know what's going on. So just come through, and it's a very exciting and enjoyable event, especially Disneyland, Ducks. If you're a Duck hockey fan, put them together. It's a great day.
So we're going to take a quick break here on Sideline Sports Podcast, but when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about how are the Ducks performing right about now as you guys are watching Sideline Sports Podcast here in California Adventure.
This is Jacob Huey, first baseman for the Long Beach State Dirtbags, and you're watching Sideline Sports Podcast.
And welcome back inside the Sideline Sports Podcast presented by Lean Mean Meals, where if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Again, I'm Alex Nevek, I'm the host, and with me again is Zach Anderson Yoxsimer, and we were talking a little bit about Ducks Day. Wow, I was about to say Kings Day. Wow, wrong day.
Yeah,
wrong.
He's gone.
Complete wrong day right there, but Ducks Day here in California Adventure, here in Anaheim, California, a bit of a different venue that we're talking about. But we were talking about what type of day it's been so far, the environment, the vibes. You know, a lot of Duck fans here in attendance here in Anaheim, California. Just a lot of people, good moods. And you know, the Ducks have been in such great moods as well. But you know what? Let's talk straight into it. Let's talk about how the Ducks have been performing. You know, we've been looking at the last 5 games. You know, the Ducks have not been quite as hot. They're 1-4 in their last 5 games. So not exactly playing the best of hockey right now. Currently 17-21, 39 points right now in the rankings. Not in last place. LA Kings in the last place spot right about now. But Zach, what do you think the Ducks need to do to move forward and get something going? You know, they're trying to at least squeeze into the wild card spot. What do you think the Ducks have to do right now?
Well, for the Anaheim Ducks, they're 11 points out of a wild card spot. I believe it's Winnipeg hosting and holding that last wild card spot. They have about 15 points. The Ducks, as you mentioned, having 39 points. Last night, the Ducks welcomed back Carter Kelly, who's been out with injury. They have Troy Terry out with injury, and they have Corbinian Holzer, who's been out with injury. So I just said the word injury 3 times in the last 10 seconds. That can tell you something. Of course, you can look at the whole season and say the Ducks, yeah, the rest of the NHL teams, they've been banged up. There's 30 other teams, 31 in total, but the Ducks, these last 5 games, they've just got one of their premier scorers back. They're about to get another center back. Troy Terry sometimes plays in the wing, and he'll come back in the lineup. Hopefully, he's been a good guy that makes in the lineup. They've had a lot of young guys, a lot of youth in this lineup right now. So for Anaheim, we're kind of just trying to figure out which guys are going to stick here for the future, which guys are just stopgaps for right now, and which of these young guys are the truth and the answer. I mean, I've seen some guys who look pretty good. We've seen some defensemen who've been out for quite some bit, quite some time. So they just need to play consistently. They have one of the best goalie tandems in the NHL, despite giving up a lot of goals. They have John Gibson and Ryan Miller. Ryan Miller was the goalie last night, despite him giving up 3 goals with 1 empty netter at the end. He was fantastic. And the Ducks just need to play consistently. Example last night against the Blue Jackets, The first period and a half, they just straight dominated. They're up 2-1 midway through the second. A little bit of a lull there at the end of the second period. Then a bit of a maybe controversial call, offsides not being called, leading to a Blue Jacket goal. The Ducks challenge it and leads to not only an upheld goal, but it leads to a power play for the Blue Jackets. They score, and then the Ducks are just out of it for the rest of the game. So the big thing is, second half of the season, consistency throughout the rest of the year, and just play better, and play with a lot of energy. The fans will love energy, even if you lose a lot of games. Hockey's exciting, so there's a lot of one-score games. Consistency and energy, and they should play better hockey the rest of the year.
You know, I really think that the energy that the fan base has shown the hockey players today, I really think that's going to help them out moving forward and such, because the Ducks run this rough stretch defensively. At some point, they're allowing 5 goals, maybe 4 goals, even 3 goals at some point, and they're losing these games. And these are games that I believe the Ducks really needed to win. These are key games, especially against Pacific, teams from the Pacific, I should say. And these are opponents that they definitely should be at least neck and neck with, and not allowing that many goals.
Yeah, definitely. They have some of the best goalies in the NHL around the world. You have John Gibson, you have Ryan Miller, one of the best American goaltenders of all time. He just became last year the all-time winningest U.S. goaltender. I was at that game when he beat the Capitals in 2019. But they have good goalies. It's just sometimes they just leave them out to dry, and it's been dry. And dry ice is not good to be on. Trust, it's bad. And the Ducks, they've left them out to dry sometimes. You know, the goalies, they have bad nights, and you can't just combine that every other night. And sometimes there's good effort, sometimes it's not bad effort, but just some lackadaisical play and some miscommunication. Lots of revolving doors of players. You have Devin Shore, you have Devin Strong, who just came back in, some healthy scratches. Young guys learning the NHL, but in NHL, young guys can definitely play early on. Case in point, Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, who they played Monday night. Those are some of the teams, players from the Maple Leafs and the Oilers. But as far as the young guys, they need to come together, and the Ducks just have to figure out, the general management, the front office, figure out who is the right move to get this team moving forward. You have the captain, you have some key defensemen, you have some forwards who they just paid, like Silverberg and Ritchie, who are getting older. Are you going to trade them away for assets in the upcoming years? And with the expansion draft coming up, the new Seattle franchise could pluck some of these young guys that you get in the near future, or that the young guys have now. So that's something to look out for. But for the Ducks, it's just consistency and look forward to the future. As much as fans like myself don't want to hear that, it's just, just keep going and work towards a better tomorrow. We've had a good run. Didn't result in any Stanley Cup wins, but they've had a good stretch. Now just build towards the 2020 deadline.
So right now the Ducks are, you said 11 points?
11 points out of wild card.
Out of wild card. Yeah. So do you believe the Ducks can completely flip the switch, put it into 6th gear, and really make a difference here? Or do you think they should really focus on the next year? Let's think about the future right about now. Let's play out this season. Let's let the young guys get some minutes on the ice. Let's let them try out. Let's see what they really got. What do you say? Do you really try to gamble and go all out, or do you really just let the young guys give them their minutes?
I mean, last year they really gambled and they tried their hardest to get in the wild card. And case in point, you had the Blues, as I mentioned, from worst to first, winning the Stanley Cup in Boston in Game 7. Whereas plays as the turn of the new year in 2019, they made it all the way through. The Ducks had their franchise worst, I believe, losing streak in the middle of the year, and they had to fire their coach, who was a pretty good coach, in the middle of the year. And instead, the Ducks are now looking, especially with Dallas Eakins as their new head coach, got a young head coach, analytically build towards next year. As a fan, you know me, I'm kind of psycho, kind of crazy. I believe, I just believe they'll make it. I just believe they can go on a run. Analytically, with some actual insight, I would just say, not exactly the year to make the playoffs. Maybe next year, maybe steal a wild card, but at the moment, with some common sense knowledge, don't expect them to make the wild card this year. But I'll still watch all the games and hope that they win and get it on a run. Anything can happen in hockey, but analytically speaking, too many things have to go their way, and just not there yet, but they're on the rise.
Dude, Zach, I gotta ask you this question. You look at the three, I'm not gonna say SoCal, but the 3 California teams, Sharks, Kings, and the Ducks. Does it really matter to you if the Ducks come out on top of the Sharks and the Kings?
I mean, this year they're all garbage, and the Sharks had so much hope. The Kings are almost in a worse state than the Ducks right now, and they had their 2 Stanley Cup wins. Of course, the Ducks won the first Stanley Cup. The Kings got their run in 2012, almost a miraculous-like run, and then built up for that 2014 run, and then things have just kind of gone downhill slightly since, slowly but surely. And last year you saw the Kings major decline. Last year you also saw the Ducks slowly, steadily get down. They got rid of Corey Perry in the offseason, all that sort of stuff. Cogliano in the middle of the year. And then for Anaheim this year, a bit of a regression. You saw hot out of the gate, just like they did last year. But of course, it's an 82-game season, and you have to be consistent. Got to get them overtime, shootout points, those extra 1 points. Got to play good in regulation, 3 periods. And it doesn't matter this year. I mean, of course, Sharks fans will be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But the Sharks can still make the playoffs. Maybe it'll be tough for them, but they have a good enough roster to make it. So I hope the Sharks don't make the playoffs. But as far as who comes out on top between the 3 California teams, it's not going to matter this year. They've all been absolutely garbage this year. That's just plain honest.
So there you go, guys. Ducks Day here in California Adventure in Anaheim, California. This is Zach Anderson Yoxsimer alongside with me, Alex Naveja. Again, this episode of Sideline Sports Podcast was brought to you by Lean Mean Meals. Make sure to get your meal prep done with Mitch Dominguez today. He's got you with your breakfast, your lunch, and even your dinner. And make sure to order your detox juices as well, along with your cold brew coffee. It's a new year. Make sure you get the detox coffee and the detox juices. I'm Alex Naveja signing off here from California Adventure, Anaheim, California. Remember, if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Have a good one, everybody.